Hello, my name is Elio Rosabal and I'm a team member of Brizzo 4.0 and the pro-owner and mentor of this project is Dr. Masu Sajari. In this video, I will be talking about the shortcoming and wish list for user story 2331, which is API authentication. Right now, the API is protected against any guest user to have access to see the data in the API, but there is some data that we want guest users to have access to, like for example properties. The reason for this is because if we go to the UI and we are guest user, we haven't logged in, so we want to have access to all the properties, so we don't have to be logged in to see this data. So in the API we want to have the same functionality, but the difference is that right now any guest user has access to the properties, so we haven't logged in, but also they have permission to add new properties or delete any existing properties. For example, I just put property number, this one. As a guest user, I have permission to delete this property or change the data of this property, so we don't want that to happen. So one way to fix this is to go, for example, to property views, right? And instead of having this permission class, which is allow any, we can have another permission class which is authenticated or read only. So for example, it would be like this: is authenticated or read only. This class comes from REST framework permission classes, so let's import it. And what this class does is explained over here. So we see the request is authenticated as a user, or it is a read-only request. So if the user is authenticated, it's going to have permission to see his data, but if the user is not authenticated, it's just going to have read-only access. This is one way to fix it. So let's go ahead and change all the permission classes, all the allow any permission classes in this view, and let's go ahead and try this locally. Okay, so let's load the URL for properties and let's scroll down. We haven't logged in, so now we have read-only access as a guest user. So we can go ahead and, for example, let's go to ID2, property number 2, when we are allowed to see the property, not to change it. We can go to the front end, and we are a guest user, and we see the properties here. And this has been tested locally. So another way to solve this would be to differentiate between requests from front end and back end, and just deny every request that a guest user makes for properties in the back end, just for the API, and then for the front end just provide the user with all the access to those properties. That would be another way to go. But right now, the way that it is set up, if we go to the API, how it is in product right now, is that guest users can change the data, and this is flowing security. So if we do that change, now guest users won't have access to the data. Then later on, we can, since regular users have access to change the data and delete it, we can just map any property that a user has created to that user ID, and then the user will be allowed to change that property only. So any other user won't be able to change that property. So that will be another thing that we can work on in the future. My name is Elio Rosabal again, and this is my contact information, and the product owner and mentor of this project is Dr. Masu Sajari, and here is his contact information. Thank you.